So a question we get asked a lot is around the platform costs. So how much does it cost to run these agents and workflows? So if you look on the screen here, this is the usual tech stack for some of the workflows and agents that we'll build out. In short, it's very minimal. So to start off with N8N, that's the workflow builder. So that's where we can connect the agent up with your system, whether it be connecting an agent up with your calendar, your CRM, your emails, whatever systems you might use already. So we can build the workflow automations with N8N, but we can also build text-based agents. So if that's an email, a WhatsApp, a SMS, a live chat on your website. So in terms of how much that cost is, we'll set it up on self-hosting. Not to get too technical here, reason we set it up self-hosted is that the costs are minimal. So you'll see here $20 a month. It's actually less than that. What we found, it's less than £10 per month when we set up self-hosting. Self-hosting, again, if you decide to grow and scale, so you do large volumes, that remains at under £10 a month. So we keep that cost very low. It's also more secure. In terms of if we're building a voice agent, what we'll set up is VAPI. So VAPI is the solution that we'll build these voice agents on top of. And what we find is that works out at around 8p per minute that the agent is speaking. Now I'll go through some examples shortly. You'll also have your Twilio number. That's if you're setting up a voice agent. And what that works out to is 3 cents in dollars. So it works out to about 1 or 2p per minute that the agent is speaking. That's if it's on a mobile. If it's a landline, it's half the price. We'll also set up Supabase in some cases. That is just a database. So this allows us to then go ahead and build some really nice custom dashboards with the data. And that's free. And then the other side is the model. So if we're running off OpenAI's ChatGPT, you'll set up your API key for that. And that is minimal. So as you can see on the screen, it depends on usage. You're looking at usually 1/10 of a cent to a cent in US dollar per full text response. So the cost is very, very low here. Again, it all depends on the project that we're building out. It all depends on your usage and your volume. But as I said, it works out very, very low. And these are the best in market solutions. You set everything up and you have full ownership. So you're paying direct cost to these platforms, which is, again, very low. So let me run through some examples. Here's an example of a client. This was for an AI voice agent, and they made 14,000 calls with a 48% connection rate. And what that worked out to was $295. So £220 overall when you take all the costs into account. Now, what we find is the largest cost is VAPI. And again, it's minimal. It's pennies per minute of conversation time. But here's to give you an idea of what that looks like with just VAPI alone. So here's an example of 383,000 calls that worked out to $6,000. So that's around £4,000. So that worked out at about 2 cents per call. Again, about 1p per call for VAPI alone. This example here, 15,000 calls for $819. So around £500. And this example here is 647 calls for $150. So again, the usage when running these agents and workflows is very, very minimal. So we set them up on the best in market, but most cost effective solutions available.